have you ever stopped to think about the fascinating stories hidden behind some of Ireland's most iconic surnames? The name O'Sullivan is one of the most captivating, steeped in a history that spans over 1,000 years. It's a tale of ancient nobility, unwavering resilience, and remarkable survival, weaving its way from the green fields of early Ireland to the farthest reaches of the modern world. As one of the most cherished Irish surnames, O'Sullivan carries a legacy that's as enduring as it is inspiring. So, join us on this journey through time as we explore the extraordinary origins of the O'Sullivans, from their roots in Tipperary to their far-reaching global influence. The story of the O'Sullivan surname begins in County Tipperary, nestled in the heart of Munster, Ireland. This ancient family name has its roots in the Gaelic OSullivan, which translates to descendant of Sullivan. But what does this name mean? The root of Sullivan is thought to combine Sul, meaning eye, and Dowan, a diminutive for dark or black. This gives the name a poetic meaning, little dark-eyed one or hawk-eyed. The imagery suggests sharpness, vigilance, and a connection to nature, qualities deeply valued in Irish culture. Another interpretation stems from Sul, meaning eye, and Owain, meaning one. This translates to one-eyed, referring to a legendary tale tied to the family's origins. According to legend, the founder of the dynasty lost an eye to an evil poet who tricked the king into granting any wish he desired. The poet, known for his stinginess, demanded the king's eye as payment. Bound by his word, the king gave it, but through a miracle, sometimes attributed to magical waters, other times to the intervention of a saint, the eye was restored. The O'Sullivans trace their lineage back to Eoghan, a towering figure in Irish history. Eoghan was the father of Olioll Olum, a celebrated king of Munster in the 3rd century. From this royal lineage sprang the Agunachta, a powerful dynasty that ruled much of southern Ireland for centuries. Their strongholds spanned Cork, Kerry, and Tipperary, cementing their influence across Munster. By the 13th century, the O'Sullivans were thriving in the fertile lands of Tipperary, but this prosperity was cut short. The Anglo-Norman invasion of the late 12th century forced them to migrate southward, setting the stage for the next chapter of their enduring story. The arrival of Anglo-Norman forces in Ireland in the late 12th century marked a period of profound upheaval for the O'Sullivan clan. As one of Munster's prominent families, the O'Sullivans held ancestral lands in County Tipperary, a region known for its fertile fields and strategic importance. However, the Anglo-Norman invasion upended their way of life. Their lands were seized, their strongholds were overrun, and the clan was forced to migrate southward to the more rugged and isolated landscapes of Cork and Kerry. This migration was not merely a retreat, but a recalibration of their identity and power. In their new territories, the O'Sullivans adapted and split into 2 dominant branches, each carving out a distinct legacy. The O'Sullivan Moor, who settled in South Kerry, established themselves as lords of Dunkerran. They controlled vast swathes of land, including the lush area around Kenmare and the dramatic gap of Dunlow. Dunkerran Castle, their principal stronghold, became a beacon of their influence and resilience, standing as both a fortress and a symbol of their dominion. The O'Sullivan Bear, meanwhile, forged their presence in the Beara Peninsula, a region straddling West Cork and South Kerry. This branch claimed the baronies of Barry and Bantry, with Dunboy Castle serving as their seat of power. The rugged coastal Beara Peninsula, with its rocky cliffs, hidden coves, and towering mountains, became synonymous with this resilient family line. Despite the displacement, the O'Sullivans thrived in their new surroundings. They fortified their strongholds, expanded their influence, and maintained a firm grip on their territories. The Beara Peninsula in particular offered both natural defenses and economic opportunities through fishing, agriculture, and trade. Yet their success was hard-earned and fraught with challenges. The O'Sullivan clan's new home in Cork and Kerry was anything but peaceful. The 16th century was a period of relentless conflict, both within Ireland and against external forces. Intense rivalries with neighbouring clans, particularly the McCarthys, led to frequent skirmishes over land and resources. Additionally, the encroachment of English forces further destabilized the region. These external pressures tested the O'Sullivans' unity and resolve. By the late 1500s, these conflicts reached a boiling point during the 9 Years' War, 1594 to 1603, a widespread rebellion against English rule led by Gaelic Irish chieftains. The O'Sullivan Bear branch, under the leadership of the formidable Donald O'Sullivan Bear, played a pivotal role in this rebellion. Known for his strategic brilliance and unyielding spirit, Donald commanded his forces in a series of fierce battles against the English. During this time, Dunboy Castle became a key defensive stronghold for the Irish resistance. Its strategic position on the Beara Peninsula made it both a symbol of defiance and a target for English forces. The eventual siege and fall of Dunboy Castle in 1602 marked a turning point in the rebellion and dealt a significant blow to the O'Sullivan Bears. However, their bravery and determination during this period solidified their place in Irish history. The forced migration and subsequent division of the O'Sullivan clan ultimately shaped their legacy, intertwining their story with the tumultuous history of Ireland. Despite immense challenges, they transformed adversity into strength, preserving their heritage while adapting to the ever-changing political landscape of Munster. Donald O'Sullivan Bear is one of the most revered figures in the history of the O'Sullivan clan, celebrated for his extraordinary leadership, resilience and courage during one of Ireland's most turbulent eras. A skilled strategist and steadfast leader, Donald rose to prominence during the tumultuous 9 Years' War, 1594 to 1603, a time when Irish chieftains joined forces to resist English rule. Aligning his forces with Spanish allies, Donald led a determined fight against the English, culminating in the legendary siege of Dunboy Castle in 1602. Dunboy Castle, the ancestral stronghold of the O'Sullivan Bear family, became the focal point of the conflict. The English siege was unrelenting and brutal, marked by heavy bombardment and fierce combat. Donald and his forces mounted a heroic defense, but the odds were stacked against them. When the castle finally fell, it marked a devastating blow, not just for the O'Sullivan Bears, but for Irish resistance as a whole. The fall of Dunboy Castle is remembered as a symbol of unwavering bravery in the face of overwhelming odds. With their stronghold lost and their lands overrun, Donald O'Sullivan Bear made a decision that would cement his place in history. In a desperate bid for survival, he led his people on an extraordinary 500-kilometer march from the Beara Peninsula in County Cork to County Leitrim in the north. Over 1,000 men, women and children followed Donald through the harsh Irish winter, battling starvation, freezing conditions, and relentless attacks from English forces and hostile clans. The march, known as the March of the O'Sullivan Bear, became a harrowing journey of endurance and survival. The suffering was immense. By the time they reached their destination in Leitrim, only 35 of the original 1,000 followers had survived the grueling trek. This tragic outcome was a stark testament to the resilience and resolve of the O'Sullivans, who refused to surrender their identity or their spirit, even in the face of unimaginable hardship. The march is remembered as one of the most profound acts of perseverance in Irish history, and it immortalized Donald as a figure of unyielding courage and loyalty to his people. The fall of Dunboy Castle and the devastating march marked the end of an era for the O'Sullivans in Ireland. Stripped of their ancestral lands and scattered, Donald was left with no choice but to flee to Spain. There, he found refuge under the protection of King Philip III, who welcomed him as a hero of the Irish resistance. In recognition of his bravery and service, Donald was granted the title Count of Bearahaven. Though he lived the rest of his life in exile, Donald remained a symbol of defiance and hope for the Irish diaspora. Back in Ireland, the O'Sullivans, who remained, faced immense challenges under English rule. Their lands were confiscated, and they were forced to adapt to a rapidly changing political and social landscape. Yet, despite these hardships, the O'Sullivans endured. Their story is a testament to the strength of a family that, even in the darkest times, held fast to their identity and their heritage.